Rent-to-rent compliance. That's right, it's a great strategy, but you need to make sure that you're doing it safely from day one so that everybody is covered. Simon here, the founder of Rent to Rent 2.0, and on this channel, I drop weekly content to help you on your rent-to-rent journey. If that sounds good, smash the subscribe button, you're in the right place. So let's get straight into the value. Compliance is key. Whenever you're dealing with property investment or any type of investment and business, the number one, that's right, not number two, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you get compliant and that you're doing things safely and legally. Okay, we're doing this to create financial freedom. We don't want to get locked up. So on this video, I'm going to break down the key things you need to do. So number one, you need to make sure that you're registered with the ICO, or the Information Commissioner's Office. And all that means is, as a rent-to-renter or any property manager, you're going to be handling a lot of data. Tenant data, serviced accommodation guest data, landlord data, sometimes even payment details and ID. So it's absolutely essential that you're handling that data in line with the ICO and that you are registered. Don't worry, it's a super simple process. You can go on the ICO website, just put it in Google, put in what you'll be doing with your data, and it's usually around £40 when you're starting out. But get this sorted, get the ICO badge on your website so you've got a trust mark on there, and then you're ready to move on. Number two is you need to make sure that you're registered with one of the property Reges schemes. And there's about 4, I believe, and I am a member of the PRS, which is the Property Reges Scheme. Once again, easily found on Google, and all you want to do is register at the lowest level initially. It's not professional legal advice, but I would recommend, if you're new, just register with the basic one for now. And once again, get the PRS or whatever you're going to do, get that trust stamp on your website, which gives you credibility and lets people know that you're doing things compliantly. Now, what is a Reges scheme? Well, it's a legal requirement for anybody that's managing properties they don't own to be a member, and it is essentially a governing body that allows tenants and stuff like that to go through channels and for you to get some level of protection and advice. And it's an intermediary, so to speak. Get it sorted so that you don't have to worry. I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh gosh, Sai, you said this rent-to-rent thing's easy, but this sounds long. But it is actually not. £40 for the ICO, about £150 for the PRS. Third thing you're going to need to do is get insured. And newsflash, insurance is key whatever business you're doing. You're going to need private indemnity insurance, which is normally, I think, for amounts of around 100,000 when you're starting. And it may be worth getting public liability insurance so you and your team are covered in your properties. Top tip. This insurance will not insure your tenants or your guests for public liability. So you will need to do that separately. If you're finding this content useful, all I ask is that you hit the subscribe button, you hit the thumbs up button, you comment below, turn on the notifications so when I drop my videos, you will be the first to know. And as always, any questions you've got, just comment below. I answer every single one personally. Number 4, and it's slightly different to the others, but obviously in order to be compliant, you intrinsically need to make sure that you're signing, using the correct agreements with the agents, landlords. And in a nutshell, you never ever use an AST. You want to be using either a company-let agreement with the appropriate terms changed, or a management agreement with your landlords, or potentially a commercial lease agreement. But you need to make sure that you seek professional legal advice. If you need help on this, inbox me. I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction. But of course, I cannot give legal advice, okay? I can't give any advice. These are just my opinions and views. So those are the 4 main things that you need to do. But then as you start to move and grow and get deals, there are a few extra ones. that give you additional compliance that may or may not be necessary, but I'm going to go through them now. First one is the NLA, National Landlord Association. And I love this because what it can do is it can offer you a service that can advise you on things such as which section you might need to use with tenants, what you need to do in terms of rent increases, what the tenant's rights are, what your rights are, and they can just advise you. And also it's another trust mark that you can stick on your website to show that you are serious about this business. They also do a range of courses, and they've got loads of online resources, and they've got loads of agreements actually that you can use on there. The second additional level of compliance is ALA, or Property Mark. And this is the next level, okay? This is when you actually want to do courses or qualifications or get your team members to do that. And then, then you're really going to be a respected and legitimate force. Okay, so this is something that I highly recommend when you start managing other people's properties in a traditional method. Okay, so say for example, you're doing rent to rent, but then you also go into managing on a commission basis. This is something that will be fantastic for you to implement. The third and final level of compliance I'm going to cover in this video, probably some more that you might want to consider or work and extra bonuses ones depending on what you're doing. Obviously, if you're doing purchases, you're going to need anti-money laundering with the HMRC, etc. But the final thing that you may start to need is client money protection, okay? CMP. And all that means is when you're holding other people's money, okay, it's essential for you to have this. So this is going to be applicable when you are managing other people's properties on a commission basis, because the rent you collect is Mr. Landlord's. You pay yourself a commission and then you pay the rest the landlord. Okay? Now you need to have client money protection for that. So the last one, Property Mark / ALA, do offer that, but at the beginning, before you're accredited, you're going to need to find an independent person. And what I recommend is Money Shield, which is actually, once again, another recommendation. It's actually a sister company to ALA, so they're absolutely legit. And you'll need to share with them some of the previous compliances to show that you're proper and you're doing this legally, and then they will give you that protection. So you'll have a client money account then to hold other people's money. Now, top tip, and this is a gray area. Technically, when you're doing rent to rent, you're not holding the landlord's money because the landlord's rent becomes a business expense. Let me break that down. If, for example, you market a property for a landlord at £2,000 a month, the money comes into you, you pay yourself a 10% commission, and then the rest of the rent is the landlord's, you are holding their rent and taking a commission fee. On the other hand, if you take £2,000 and you've agreed to guarantee a rent to the landlord of £800, okay, the majority of the money is yours, and therefore it is classified as a business expense. It is a grey area. Speak to your accountant, but that's a frequent interpretation of that. But you know, at the end of the day, you've got to seek your own advice. These are just my views and interpretations. So that's how you become compliant in Rent to Rent 2.0, and that's how you're going to become a legitimate, credible force to be reckoned with. And that's the aim. You want to be doing this correctly from day one so that you can make cash flow, okay? And you can do it in the right way. If you found this useful, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Introducing Creative Cashflow Plus, the first rent-to-rent app and leading platform dedicated to supporting you on your property journey. Ask the experts anything. Be held accountable so that you can smash your goals. Mastermind with other rent-to-rent specialists. Access our deal clinic to get your deals analysed by a pro. And unlock hours of videos and podcasts guaranteed to help you take your rent-to-rent business to the next level. Get the ongoing support that you deserve. Join us, Creative Cashflow Plus.